Welcome guys to another episode of the Come Up Starter Kit. Today I am with a special guest that I've known for some time, Mon, who is a data strategist, but I'm going to hand it over to Mon to introduce himself.
Hey guys, I'm Mon. I studied IT for my bachelor's and master's, and I did some research while teaching in uni while working with one of the bigger IT firms in the industry. I'm from the Philippines, and at the moment I do data strategy and data quality for a data pharmaceutical company.
Perfect. All right. So why I brought Mon today is really to discuss or try and help people that are from overseas who are looking for their break within Australia. Mon has come from the Philippines. He's now been here for some time, but he can definitely discuss his sort of pain points and how he sort of overcome those hurdles. So Mon, I guess my first question to you, when you first came to Australia, what sort of strategies did you take to try and help land a role or even sort of look for a role?
Well, I can't really say I have a proper strategy, if you can
Yeah.
make it that way, but I just tried applying, right? So with every application, I tried picking up some patterns of what people are looking for. So
Yeah.
with every interview, I tried picking up on what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So based on what I've learned with immersing myself in the experience, then I based my strategy out of it.
Okay. Very good. And so would you sort of make notes around those strategies and sort of to form, I guess, to get to that best point, or what did you sort of do?
So after applying 100 applications a day,
Yeah.
you get to, after reading a lot of job postings, you get a gist of what's a pattern of how they're
Right.
doing it. What's everybody's looking for.
Okay.
So based on it, you just form, hey, these are the key skills that people are looking for, and they just highlight them in my CV.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And I know that when we were sort of discussing beforehand, you mentioned sort of when you came over, you couldn't be so generic and you had to sort of tailor
Yeah.
what you needed to. Maybe discuss a little bit about that.
Coming from the Philippines, the job market is a lot different here in Australia. In the Philippines, I could just list down everything that I have,
Mhm.
everything that I did. So all of my experiences without really formulating a good profile,
Yeah,
if you put it that way, right? So when I came here, my CV looks very generic,
right.
and then it doesn't really work if you send it off to the job postings. What Another one that I didn't do immediately is not highlighting the impact of my work.
Yeah, right.
So because yeah, you could list your experience, you could list your roles that you have performed, but then what's the impact in the business? If you don't highlight it, it's really generic. It's like just typing everything that you know in a piece of paper, but then what's the impact?
Mm,
People here in Australia are looking for what's the impact of your work
that
in the
is
business.
that is very good advice. All right, so that's perfect. So I guess a good question that I always find out from people: what do you wish that you knew now that you wish you knew back then when you were searching for your role?
Well, I wish that I do know how the industry works,
Okay.
right? So here I have a lot going to Australia. Back in the Philippines, I had a lot of experiences.
Right.
I have done a lot of developer work, I have done a lot of BA work, I have done a lot of project management, portfolio management, and everything, right?
Right.
So here, you always need to understand what people are looking for, such that you could think of several roles that you could form a profile.
Mm-hmm.
So without knowing it, without really immersing yourself to the experience of understanding, hey, these are what people are looking for in their job postings,
Yeah.
then it's kind of hard. So just need to immerse yourself and then think of several job profiles that you could apply to yourself.
Okay, so you think sort of if you've got a variety of skill sets, make sure to sort of tailor that CV to that particular skill set, and then when applying to that role, use that particular CV to that particular role as opposed to having it all generic.
That's right. Because you only have at the maximum 30 seconds
Mm,
for you to impress whoever the job poster is.
yes.
They won't go through your 5-page CV. Probably they'll just do 30 seconds, a quick browse of the first half of your page.
Yeah.
If you don't have the things that's important for them there, then you lose it.
No, that's very good. That's very good. All right. So, what was what was the hardest aspect in your job search?
The hardest aspect is keeping sane. I mean, it's
Yeah. Right.
it's
Yes.
hard to keep yourself sane with all of these things, right? At the
Mm,
end of the day, you'll doubt yourself after applying for a hundred roles, and then two people call you,
mm,
and then they don't get back to you, and then after another day, you apply for another 200 roles,
yeah.
and then you land an interview, but then yeah, they don't want you, right?
Mm,
So you doubt yourself in the process by applying in a lot of roles, right? So
yeah.
just keep yourself sane, and
Mhm.
that's the hardest part.
So that's that's a really good point that you've touched on. How did you overcome that? A lot of people in this day and age that they're applying for multiple roles and they're not hearing back from their job search. What were some tips around? Yeah, what would be some tips that you could share with people just to keep resilient?
But it's a hard question because I did lose it
Yeah,
when I was
yeah,
applying for a lot of roles, right? It's okay to lose it, right?
mm,
You just need to take a break and then talk to a friend. So it's important you have an anchor with somebody you could talk to bring you back to your sane self.
yeah.
With all the isolation that's happening, right?
Mm.
You really need somebody. You really need your friends. You really need your family. So just keep in touch, and then they'll hopefully they'll keep you sane.
No, very good points. Okay, good. Um, this might be a good one for people as well. What are some mistakes that you made that people should know when you were sort of conducting your job search that could potentially help other people?
Well, the things that the mistakes they did is uh, because coming from a very high level position,
Yeah,
right? You tend to belittle everything. So sometimes the ask is too simple.
right.
Sometimes what they're looking for is you say that, hey, I've already passed this particular work several years back. Would I want to go back to it? Right? But at the end of the day, if you don't get your foot inside the door, you're just not gonna get anywhere, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you need to get one foot in order for you to be accommodated. But if
Yes.
you never put your foot in, then nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, okay. So you think that when you've come overseas and you may have sort of a particular experience and have sort of an expectation, you should be open to other opportunities that you may have done in the past?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. No, that's good advice. All right. What would be your top three things that you would advise people who are currently in your position that have come overseas and just really need that break?
So my first advice is there's no work too simple.
Mm.
With with my experience with you, right? You're actually my first break
Yeah.
here in Australia. After applying for 4 months, and then I got in touch with you. You're able to give me a contract role, a part-time contract role, which is a very short role, but then it's actually a big break, right? It's just doing a couple of SQL stuff which I have done in the junior years of my career.
Yeah.
But then it's actually my entry point into the Australian market that gave me future roles, good roles that I'm in at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Very
So
good.
the next advice I could give you is just don't depend on what you know, because the Australian market is a lot different,
Right.
right? You need to immerse yourself in the situation and then gain good experience out of it.
Right.
So people are always looking for local experience. People are always looking for things that you could show on the table. But then if you think of it like, hey, this is what I know, but then things might be done differently here in Australia. So always immerse yourself to the situation and just don't depend on what you know.
Okay. Perfect. Very good.
The last one is because I'm doing a lot of analysis, right? So for ideas, do it the simplest way that you can do it the first time around, and share your findings to people that you can trust, right?
Okay.
Because sometimes you overcomplicate things.
Mm.
If you have a product, you have an idea, you overcomplicate things, and then you're not testing the market if there's really an interest with it. So if there's interest, then just add on to what your original idea is, such that you get first in the market, you share your ideas, because sometimes people would just, hey, beat you in the market, and then, oh, you lost your market share already.
Right. Okay. So, I guess, so covering back over, your three tips would be: no work is too simple.
Yeah,
Don't depend on what you know.
yeah,
And if you have an idea, keep it simple and share it with people that you trust, first and
yeah,
foremost.
that's right.
Very good. Would there be any sort of, I guess, last word of advice that you would like to share with the audience?
Well, my last word of advice is just go for it. I mean, you can't really judge a job application if you don't try it, right? You can't really judge, hey, is a contract role good or not, if you don't try it yourself. So with every opportunity that you have, may it be big, may it be small, always go for it. You don't know where it's gonna lead you. Probably it's gonna lead you to something better. But if you don't try, you don't get your foot in the door. That's
That's
it.
that's perfect, Mon. Look, thank you so much for taking the time out, especially on a Saturday night, to speak with me. But those golden nuggets that you've just provided is very good.
Thanks, Shankar. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Cheers, Mon. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.